All right, all right, all right. Good evening. Good evening, everybody. As usual, we're going to take a little bit of time to get everybody in the house. Whew, man, oh man. It's actually kind of cold where I am right now. It's a little bit cold. How is everybody doing? How is everybody doing? As I said, we're going to, every time that you come into one of my live shows, please introduce yourselves. Leave your name, your nickname, where you're hailing from, how you found the platform, what brought you to my platform. I like to hear all of those things. So please do that as you come into the live show. Always do that as you come into the live show. Thank you very much. Let me see if I can get myself in here as well into my... Right. And how are you guys on Substack as well? I see everybody is in the house. Everybody is in the house today. As I said, man, oh man, it is rather chilly in my place. That's why I'm wrapped up nice and tight. But we're going to be talking about Donald Trump. He's erasing or planning to erase the history of slavery from the Smithsonian Museum in America, as well as, he's been on this crusade of de-wokeifying. I hate that. I hate woke in that way, but that is how these guys are using it now. He's like on an anti-woke crusade, he says. But that's what we're going to talk about today is, the importance of this, the impact that it's going to have on history in America and on education, why he's doing it, and I actually know why he's doing it. I mean, it's not like I don't know why he's doing it, but what the best response can be from the community. So we have Raina, American living in the UK. Love your content because you tell the truth. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Raina Studio Labs. Australia against Trump. Katerina Sestili. Trump, anti-Trump here, Waleska. Did you guys on Instagram see the title when you came into my live? Did it tell you what I'll be talking about? When you came into my live, if you're on Instagram, did it tell you what I'll be talking about today? Because I know Substack, but did it tell you on Instagram? Can you let me know? Did it tell you on Instagram? Let me actually get this, open this up to everybody on YouTube. Okay, there we go. Did you actually know what the title? Oh, it did. Okay, that's good. Because I'm not sure that it always does that. Where did it tell you? Did it tell you when you were before you joined or when you joined? Because I put a title in there, but I didn't know whether it tells you those things. But I'm glad it did. Oxam Belittle. But that's what we're going to be talking about today. What I'm going to do is I actually have to get my cup of tea, which is on the thing. And then we can get into this. But hopefully my audio is fine. But yeah, guys, as crazy as it sounds, it's going to be it's probably a crazier story than it sounds. Like what I said that this guy is doing, it's actually probably crazier than it seems. Actually, let me customize this. Put it back to members for now. I mean, I'll open it up a bit later, but I'm just setting it to members on YouTube for the time being. For the chat. Oh my goodness, guys. Oh my goodness. Well, so as a preface for this, like I said, I'm going to get some tea real quickly, but as a preface for this, Donny T, has said that the Smithsonian Museum is focusing too much on negativity and on the dark side of American history. I kid you not. That is focusing too much on the dark side of American history, and he wants to clean things up. That is what Donny T wants to do. He says he wants to clean things up. He wants to go in there and de-wokeify the museums and the school educational system. Mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. And one of the main targets, he said, is slavery. It's like, why are we focusing so much on slavery and how bad slavery was, And that it's too much negativity, which is interesting. I mean, I don't know if there could ever be anything positive about it. So you're either talking about it or you're not talking about it, in my humble opinion. Either you're having that conversation or not. But that is the reality of things. So that's what we're going to talk about. Gorgeously melanated, how are you? I see you on Instagram. How are you doing? Gorgeously melanated, how are you doing? Yes. So we're going to have that convo. We are going to have that convo. Just waiting for more people to get in here. Waiting for everybody to get in here before we get going. It usually takes a little bit of time for the room to populate. So in the meantime, we'll take care of some other business. If you're on Instagram, by the way, you're going to have the ability to get on the wait list for the Crusaders episode 2 graphic novel. In fact, if you're on Instagram, you can get yourself on the wait list immediately by just typing the word Crusaders in the comments. If you type the word Crusaders in the comments, my team will get you a DM immediately to give you the information to get on the wait list for the Crusaders, my Pan-African graphic novel series, where a group of adventurers go on crusades, on adventures to reclaim stolen artifacts taken from Africa during colonialism and slavery and to return them back to the continent. So that is something that you should, everybody should get. And definitely, if you type Crusaders in the comments in Instagram, you'll be able to get yourself on that list via your DMs. If you're listening anywhere else, like on Substack, you're listening in on YouTube, then you just have to go to the website or the link in my profile bio. Link in my profile bio will take you there, or you can go to www.thecrusadersunite.com. Okay? I don't think Donny T is nuts. I really don't. I mean, which is what we're going to talk about today. Like I said, my lives, I take 10, 15 minutes just to let people get in, and then we'll really get into it. But I don't think he's crazy at all. I don't think the guy is crazy at all. So if you're on Instagram, like I said, type the word Crusaders and then check your DMs. Make sure you enter your name and your email, and then we will send you an email with the confirmation, and you click the blue button in the confirmation email to get yourself on the list. We've had 1,000 pre-orders already within 24 hours. Like, guys, we're breaking records. We're breaking records for episode 2. And I'm going to cap it off soon. I'm not even going to let any more people pre-order very soon. 1,000 in less than 24 hours. Breaking records. Okay. All right, I see everybody here. And is there anything I'm missing? Because I'm going to talk about a few things today, but let me know in the chat if there's anything pertinent that you want me to cover in today's show as well. We're going to be focused on the history that Donny T is trying to erase. That's what we're going to be focused on. But if there's anything else that you feel is worth covering, please let me know, because we're going to start in about 5 minutes this topic. What's this? The hell? We're going to start in about 5 minutes, but please let me know. Let me know if there's anything that you want me to cover in addition. You just joined, put you on. I said type in the word Crusaders in the chat if you want to be on the, if you want to get the pre-order list. Star Smith, the pre-order, Star Smith, you're in the 300. You don't need to be on the pre-order. You don't need to be on the pre-order. And I'm going to be getting everybody a electronic press kit for the Crusaders as well. Don't worry. We're going to be getting an electronic press kit. If you're on YouTube, typing Crusaders doesn't work. If you're on YouTube, this is where you need to go. Go to this website. Okay. If you're on YouTube, go to that website. And you can get on the pre-order list right now if you're on YouTube. I'll pin it. Okay. Same thing on Substack. I'm going to write it in the Substack. This is where you go if you want to get on the wait list on Substack. Okay. And it's also on my newsletter. I should have gotten the last few posts I put in my newsletter. I had the link there as well. Okay. But on Instagram, all you have to do is type the word Crusaders on Instagram and you will get a DM with the information. All right, guys, I'm going to get my tea and then we're going to get started. So get yourselves comfortable. I'm going to get my tea from the kitchen and then we're going to get started on Donny T and his attempts to erase history. Okay. So I'll be right back. All right. All right. All right. All right, guys. Sorry, guys. I had to take care of business, but we're now back in. All right, let's get into this. So, what is this story? We know from, you've read the title. Donald Trump says that the American Museum should stop focusing on the negative side of American history and should focus on its greatness, on the fantastic achievements, and so on and so forth. Now, the thing about this is that, it's one thing if a guy is just talking, but this guy is not just talking. He did an executive order 14253, restoring truth and sanity to American history. The names that Donny T gives to his laws they're actually as hilarious as the laws themselves. This guy called this thing Restoring Truth and Sanity to American History. And it was signed on March 31st, 2025. So this thing was signed a long time ago. Now, because he's doing so much, I think that a lot of us are actually missing things, like we're missing details. Because the fact that this happened so long ago, and I forgot this happened, I wasn't even paying attention to this. But this is literally old news. Maggie Getfield, how are you doing? This is literally old news. So what did Donny T now do? He is directing the Smithsonian and Department of the Interior to remove or alter exhibits deemed improper ideology or divisive. Guys, let us break that down. What does it mean when a guy is saying that the criteria to remove something from a museum is that the ideology is improper? Can anybody give me an answer to that in the chat? What does it mean when somebody says that in order to what they're doing, the criteria to remove materials from a museum is that the ideology is improper? Somebody tell me. Somebody, please. Because I just want to see what your perspective is on this. What is your perspective on this? Because when somebody is saying that ideology is the criteria on which you remove things from history, the first question I would ask is, what ideology are you abiding by? Because if this ideology is improper, what is the proper ideology? You see what I'm saying? That is what I would like to know, is what is the proper ideology? Because I heard that and I'm like, wow, man, that is literally like saying the thing out loud that you're not supposed to be saying out loud. Now, when he goes on to say that also things that are divisive, what does it mean? Dividing who from who? Like, America is a country that is founded on being divisive. The very foundation of the country is slavery, which was the ultimate divisive thing. Then you had Jim Crow and segregation, which is literal division. So then how does the group who spent 500 years dividing a country then be the ones to tell people not to be divisive? I mean, somebody make it make sense to me. Somebody make it make sense to me. Maggie Getfield, I agree with you. Yes, exactly. Whose ideology that are we all supposed to agree with? Whose ideology are we all supposed to agree with? I 100% agree with that perspective. Sharon C says they just use these terms to justify the removal of real artifacts. Yes, this is true. This is true. I mean, the fact that we understand this, what is this? The fact that we understand this is really, really important. The fact that we understand this is really, really important. We need to be looking at things the right way now. Okay? We need to be looking at things the right way now. We now understand that the ideology that this man is talking about is not the ideology you folks believe in. Okay, so we agree, we can all agree on that. The ideology he's talking about is not the ideology we believe in. And I'm speaking about Black and African folks, most of us anyway, not all of us, because we know that there's some people who are a little bit confused about things. So once we understand that and we say, okay, you're going to now go into the museums and you say you're going to colleges and schools to recalibrate what people are learning and remembering about history. You know, when I warned all of you folks, people thought I was joking. We are to blame when things happen, nobody else. Because I told you, I said, if you do not take control of your own history, you're finished. Because very soon, everything is going to be erased. Everything is going to be erased. Everything. This is the reason why even the books that I've been making and the, you know, my graphic novel, where is it actually? I have it here. It's so important because the only way that we can do anything is if we do it ourselves. You shouldn't be complaining to Donny T and asking him to, why should he preserve your history? Why should, do you know how weird it is to ask the perpetrators of something who didn't lose? You see, the reason why the Germans might preserve Nazi history to teach people about what happened, they lost the war. America didn't lose the slavery war. They won that one and benefited from it. So did the British and so did all of these other countries. And the effects of it are still being felt today. So how can you expect them to go out of their way to then start teaching you about your history? Isn't that weird? Whose responsibility is that? It's your responsibility. It's our responsibility. It's our responsibility. And it's a very strange scenario where this makes what you're doing very important, Maggie Getfield said. Maggie Getfield, this makes what I'm doing the most important thing that we can possibly be doing right now as a group of people. It makes what I'm doing right now and all the stuff we've been talking about in the 300 now because what we're now seeing is that there is an active effort to erase history. This is no longer pretending and teaching you this and then talking about this and that. No. They're like, we don't want anybody to know about this stuff. If they can do this with slavery, if they can do this with stuff that is already in the museum, they want to remove what's already in the museum. What hope do you have for the stuff that never made it into the museum? I'm asking you folks who are listening to this. If they're doing this to stuff that made it into the museum, what hope is there for all the aspects of our history and our heritage and all these things that never made it into the museum? Or you want to just keep fighting for somebody else to tell your story for you? The man on my cup, this is Mansa Musa. This is Mansa Musa. On this mug. I made a series of mugs called the Kings of Africa mugs. This is Mansa Musa. I can actually show you some of the mugs if you want to see them. I have them here somewhere. I made a whole series of mugs, a collection of Kings of Africa mugs. So this is the Mansa Musa mug, the King of Mali, the richest man that ever lived. And then on the back of each mug is a piece of their history, the history of the king, And the mugs are color coded. You know, Mansa Musa he had a lot of gold. So his mug is a gold colored mug. So that is who it is, Mansa Musa of Mali. Okay. I have Sunjata Keita mug. I have Haile Selassie. I have Shaka Zulu. I have, what else do I have? I'm going blank here. Oh, Ramses II. And who else do I have? I have another Ethiopian king and then Oba of Onrawen as well. And then I have, I'm doing the Queens of Africa mugs, but I've only done one Queen of Africa mug so far, Queen of Sheba. But I'm going to be doing the Queens of Africa mug series as well. You know, that's what's going to be happening. But yeah, you can, if anybody wants a mug, you can buy these on my store. The link in my profile bio. You can go there and the alkebulanshop.com, and you can get a lot of my stuff on there. I've got a lot of materials on there you can get in the alkebulanshop.com, or the link in my profile bio if you want to grab yourself a Mansa Musa mug. But this is my favorite one. I use two mugs. I use this one in the day. I use this in the daytime and the Oba of Onrawen mug at night. What about the Queens? Yes, I'm going to be doing the Queens soon. Alice B. I just haven't had time. I just haven't had time to get down to doing that, but I'll be doing the Queens of Africa mug soon. Let's make an adaptation of the Crusader. What do you mean an adaptation? What are you talking about? Muslim history that is erased and all the name you just said. Do you have Queen? I was going to ask. Oh, yes. Okay, I've answered that. The energy of prosperity, Mansa Musa. Okay. Yes. So, listen, you know, I think that the best way of looking at things now is separating the doers from the talkers. I think we are now in a position now that listen, I really like Donity. I don't just like Donity, I really like Donity. You see, Donity shows you what it means to be a man of action. For the people he's riding for, this guy is a rock star to these guys. The guy is just doing things. Imagine, for example, if Barack Obama was like Donald Trump, but for Black and African people. Just imagine a version of Donald Trump who is Black and for Black and African people, who's president of America. Imagine the progress that would have been made. Because the stuff he's doing appeals to white supremacists, you know, and nationalists and all these other guys, right-wing extremists and conservatives and all those people. But they love him because he's doing all the things they really, really want to do. Uh-oh. Guys, I think that I got booted from X. I think I just kicked me off X, guys. Let me see what happened here. What the hell just happened? What the hell? Give me a second, guys. I think that I got banned from X. Wow. Hold on. Because I'm talking about, I mean, why did they kick me off X? Whoa. What the hell? Guys, give me a sec. Yeah. Yeah, guys, I got kicked off X, guys, during my live because I was streaming there. And I'm trying to see if I can get. And is the website down? Can anybody else get to X? That would be so crazy, man. Not that I care. I mean, I don't even really care about X, to be honest, but damn. What's your name on X? Just type in the Mac on X. Type in the Mac on X and see if I'm actually still broadcasting, because it gave me an alert here saying that I've been removed. And now I can't even go onto the website. I can't even go to the Twitter website. This page is not working. Well, they got me. They got me. Eric Briscoe, how are you? Peace and blessings. Okay. Just order the Mansa Musa. Oh, Eric Briscoe, enjoy it. Eric Briscoe just ordered the Mansa Musa. Enjoy the mug. I mean, this is exactly what you're going to get, what you see me using here. Enjoy the mug, Eric Briscoe. Sharon C says, because I'm telling the truth. Well, listen, you know, they aren't showing my broadcasts. Yeah, they kicked me off. They kicked me off. Oh, man. Elon Musk, man. Let me try and reconnect. Hold on. Forget about it. I'll just leave. I'll let it go. I'll let it go. Anyway, guys, where were we? What were we saying before I was so rudely interrupted? Yeah, the alert just came up on my screen, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" Just came up on my screen, said I was out of there. Very, very unusual. Anyway, yes. So what we're doing is actually really, really important now. You know, a lot of the work that we're doing now is actually now of real, genuine importance. You know? I mean, I'm looking at some of these articles, and this guy is crazy, man. You know, this guy is crazy. I mean, this is some wild. Actually, you know what? As I said, I don't think he's crazy. I think this is very calculated. I think this is very, very calculated. I think it's also extremely effective right now. You know, I think it's also extremely effective right now. Let's see what's happening here. Okay, I see some of you guys signed up. I see some of you guys signed up. Okay. I've got you in here. Okay, great. Yeah, guys, look. That's the reason why it's now so important. Like, you know, we have to be in a position where we're in control of our narrative and our history, and also, most importantly, take responsibility for it. I don't think that him doing this should even have any impact, because the way you should look at this is, why don't we have our own museums? I mean, we have some, but you shouldn't be worrying about their museums. Forget about their museums. Build your own museums talking about the history you once talked about. You've got to start looking at this as if, look, a US government has been telling folks for like the last 100 years that we're not interested in taking you seriously. At some point, you've got to start listening to them. Or if you want to change things, control your voting power to make sure that only the people who listen to you get into office. Like, it's one or the other, but I don't even ascribe to that, because I think the uphill battle of trying to make that government take you seriously is so high that you're better off just taking a step off the reservation and going to build your own things. You're better off. Or am I crazy to say that? Am I wrong? Is that a crazy statement? Is that a crazy statement? I mean, that's my belief. That's my belief. You should not be upset by this story. You should not be upset. The broadcast is not available on X. Yeah, they cut me off X. Maybe I was saying things that were a little bit too spicy. I don't know. I don't think I was. I don't think this live has not been disrespectful. I don't think I've said anything really controversial in this live, So I'm not sure. All I've said is that, this is what it is. We know why it's being done. Once you can control history, you control the future. Like, if you think about it, why are you so adamant to pretend like certain things didn't happen? Because you don't want people to know. You don't want people to know. The more they know, it's harder for you to control them. And as I've been saying recently, I don't think that the people that they're worried about most are us. They're most worried about white children. That's really what they're concerned about. It's like they don't want their own children to learn the truth, because when they then grow up, their attitudes towards black people will be different. Towards immigrants will be different. Like, if you let them learn the actual truth as to what their ancestors did and how America became what it became, how England became what it became, and so on and so forth, it'll be very difficult for those kids to grow up to be like their parents or their grandparents. Which is why I think he's doing this. It's just that, they don't want to have a reckoning with that history. You said you really like Donny T. Are you surprised they got worried? Yeah, no, I really like Donny T because he represents, how do I put it? As I said, he's a man of action. Of course I don't agree with 95% of what he does. I don't agree with a lot of what he does, but the point I'm making is that for the people that support him and the people that he's representing, man. Yes, Star Smith. But you know what, Star Smith? This is the problem. Let me bring some people in here. The problem is that if you're a people or a community that is used to being subservient, is used to being enslaved, controlled, abused, you get so used to that it's very difficult for you to think of reality any other way. It's very difficult to think of reality any other way. Let me put a link up in the YouTube. That's the link. It's very, very difficult for you to think of reality in any other way. While we're doing that, guys, let me give you a little bit of insight. So, episode 2, this is the proof copy. This is the proof copy of episode 2 of The Crusaders. Okay, look at that. Fantastic. This is the proof copy. Okay. And it's going to be available for purchase next weekend. It is going to be available next weekend, I believe on Friday, the 12th of, or Saturday, or Friday or Saturday. I think it's Friday, the 12th of September. It is going to go on sale, so you can get yourself on the pre-order list right now. Episode 1 has been available for years, actually. This came out a few years ago. Everybody who, if you are a long-term watcher of my channel, and you were on my channel from 3 years ago, from 2022, you would know about The Crusaders episode 1, because this was one of the first things I talked about when I was starting out my platform. And it's taken years, but the 300, my community, of my financing community, made this possible. This is episode 2. It is twice as long as the first episode. It's just fantastic, guys. I haven't got enough positive things to say about this particular thing, but it is real, genuine history, which is why the stuff that we're talking about today is so important, because I didn't ask anybody for permission to do this. I didn't go to the establishment to do this. I went to you guys, the community, The 300 members came forward. We voted. They voted for the Crusaders. They put the money in, and I did it. I've delivered the goods. Next week, Friday, is going to be coming out. Get on the wait list. Get on the pre-order list. All you've got to do is type Crusaders. If you're on Instagram, type the word Crusaders and then check your DMs. If you're on YouTube or on Substack, you go to the website www.thecrusadersunite.com. Or you can go to the link in my profile bio on YouTube, and on Substack, I've got it on the website or in the posts I've been sending you. I've got links to everything. All right? But this is what we do. This is what we do. All I ask of the community is to be supported. So when I go and do the work, you actually buy the goods, you support the goods, you donate, you support. As long as you're able to do that for me, I'll keep doing it. As long as you can do that for me, I will take care of business. We will not have to worry about what the Smithsonian is doing. We will not have to worry about what the Smithsonian is doing. Because I look at it, which is actually a Pan-African mentality, I look at it as a big family. So I don't look at Black America as like an other group. I view it as part of the wider African family. So all of these things that Donny-T is doing is actually of interest to me because this is all connected to African history. Slavery is part of African history. Contrary to what anybody might tell you, no, it's part of African history as well. And it's something that Africans should also learn. Because I think it would give Africans a perspective on the difficulties that the Black American has had to face and is facing psychologically. I'm not even talking about physically, I'm talking about mentally, psychologically. This is why these things are very important for everybody to learn. But I also don't believe that it's the responsibility of Donny-T and his cohorts to teach you. Why would he? It doesn't even make sense. It's like illogical. Why would he do that? Why would he support something like that? There is absolutely no reason. Absolutely no reason. So I think that, when people talk about this story and their instinct is, oh, look at what he's doing to Donny-T has nothing, cannot do anything to you that you don't allow to be done to you. Anything that is being done is because you're letting it happen. Sharon C., he can't teach anybody, he's not educated. He's empowering those people who do have the ability to teach. He doesn't need to do anything. He is literally a facilitator. He is a facilitator. Which is very, very unfortunate. You know what? I actually forgot to go on. I was going to go on I didn't go on my TikTok. I was going to go on TikTok as well tonight. But I didn't do that. It's unfortunate. I can't connect it to my RTMP, which is what makes it a bit difficult. Ooh. Let's see. I don't think that you even got how to go live on TikTok with a Mac computer. Okay, there might be a way. There might be a way. I'll look into that because that would be very helpful. We're educated. We're not worried about Donald Trump. Well, I hope so. I would hope that you're not worried about him. But if you're not worried about him, what work for education are you doing? That's the real question, because people can say, oh, I don't care about him, but what are you doing to correct the issue? What are you doing to correct the issue? Because as I said, I genuinely believe that the biggest factor now and the way to respond to this, or how we respond to these sorts of things, is going to make a massive difference. It's going to make a massive difference. Hello, Ma. Welcome to the Substack. Hello, Ma. Welcome to the Substack feed. Oh, man. I had a very long day today. Super long. I think, what time did I wake up? At 5 a.m.? It's been hectic. It's been hectic. Yeah, but you see, my problem as well, I think, and you know what, everybody who's in my live chat today, everybody who's listening in, watching, are you a doer or a talker? Because I saw the reaction to this stuff online, and to be honest, I just saw a lot of people just talking. And I'm like, listen, the reason why this guy can get away with doing things like this is because people just talk. There are not enough people that would actually take any kind of action that would therefore make people who want to do things like this think twice. Because they're aware of what kind of backlash that there will be or reaction. Sunset Boulevard. Real ones don't. Okay. Say so. Johnny, you from Jamaica, Polly Hollock. How are you? How are you? Good evening. Oh my God. Yeah, but I think once you've framed everything correctly and you're looking at things the right way, this is a very, very straightforward situation. And I actually think people should be viewing this more as incentive, as motivation to start making the right moves. It should really just be motivation for you to start making the right moves. And to start saying that, okay, clearly doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results is foolish. Got to try something else. So I think aggressively, I don't even know where you would begin because, again, judging by the commentary and the reaction I've seen online, most people's mindset is in the outrage mode and talking about the "I told you so" thing, you know, which is, I think that's in and of itself is unfortunate. But that whole mentality of like, oh, you know, well, Sharon C just said it, you voted for it, you know, or if you didn't vote, this is your fault for like things like that. And I'm just like, well, listen, I don't know what to say. But I don't want to make this this particular live show that kind of political. You know, I don't really want to do that. The main thing of this was really just to talk about what Donny T's done and why us controlling our history and beginning to tell our stories ourselves independently is so important. It's really, really important. You know? Let's see now, what is... Oh, man. What's the discussion? Well, we're talking about Donald Trump, his quest to remove slavery and what he calls woke materials from the Smithsonian Museum and other museums in America, as well as college campuses. He's doing it across the board. If you were a descendant of slaves, you would be outraged too. Summer Sky, let's take your comments. Let us follow your comment through to the. Actually, Summer Sky, can you get on? Let me bring you on. I like this comment. Let's have a conversation about this. Here's the link. Let's have a conversation about this. Let's have a conversation about that comment. Let me put up your comments on the screen. And let's have a conversation about that comment. Click the link. Or let me know if you're having troubles with the link. Let me bring you on to have a conversation about that comment. Because I think it's actually, it leads to exactly what I want to talk about. It comes at a time when Black Americans are calling themselves the originals and disconnecting from Africa. I don't understand what you mean. Calling themselves the original what? When did Black Americans call themselves the original? I don't understand what you mean. Paula Hollock on Substack. What are you referring to? But I tell you, you've clicked the link. Are you on a computer or a phone? Because it's best for you to be on a computer on Chrome. It's best to be on a Chrome browser on a laptop or computer to get access. But I don't see you here. If you click the link, I would see you. But it's best for you to be on a laptop with Chrome. By original, I think they are referring to Indians or Native Americans. Okay, because I haven't heard that one before. I haven't heard them referring to themselves as original. And that's news to me. You're on your mobile. Yeah, you'd have to be on a laptop. I don't think the mobile phone. Maybe it does. I think there's some people who've done it on a mobile before. I think some people have, but I think it's best to be on a computer. Being the original natives. Well, it depends, because from what I am aware of, there were Black people in America. What the hell? Oh, my battery is dying. There were Black people in America before slaves got there. You see what I'm saying? Like, allegedly. Now, my question is, where the hell are those people, if that's true? If there were Black people in America before the slaves got there, what happened to them? If that's true. I can't say that I'm an expert on that piece of history, but that is what I have heard. And my question, like I said, is where are they? Oh, it's a huge new thing, and saying they were never slaves. They were never slaves. Okay. You feel it's a psyop to separate Black people. Well, Paula Hollock, you shouldn't think it is. I believe that is exactly what it is. Summer Sky, if you want to discuss this, you have to get on a laptop, go to Chrome, then click the link from a Chrome browser, and then you can come on and we can have the conversation. I think it was a good question you asked. So, I mean, it would be good for you to come on and have that conversation, because I have a lot to say about that. I was going to say it, but I was like, you know what? It's better to have a conversation than for me to just say it. Star Smith says a lot of people are saying Black Americans are the original indigenous people, claiming they were enslaved, and the transatlantic slave trade is over-exaggerated. What? What? Are you saying that they were never enslaved? And I mean, no, that is definitely that is definitely a psyop. That is definitely a psyop. Thanks, Sidfo. I appreciate it. That is definitely a psyop. I mean, what kind of do you know what? I think that we are the only community. I think Black people are the only community that, whenever there is any opportunity to progress, actively sabotage themselves. Because I'm looking at something like this, is that where did that narrative come from? I'd never heard that one before till today, so this is news to me. People are saying that, you said that there are Black people who said slavery was over exaggerated and that they were never slaves and they're indigenous to America. All right. That's really interesting. That's really interesting. Because if that were the case, then you should have an unbroken thread of your history, where you'd know what your real names are, your real heritage. It's all on TikTok. Yeah, well, you know what? There's 1,000 stories out there. I can't follow up on everything, implying they are not African diaspora at all. Yeah, no, Star Smith, what you're telling me, it tracks with a lot of other things that have been going on. And this idea, this effort that people have made to try and separate themselves from Africa, any excuse possible, from East Africa to South Africa, now in West Africa, and people, well, we already know about North Africa doing it. Every effort it's specifically about, how do we create a narrative that separates us from Blackness? Which is crazy. It's crazy. But I think from my end, the focus just needs to be on what we're doing. Like, I think trying to spread too thin and worry about I'm just like, no, you know what? Let's just focus on ourselves and what we're trying to do. Saying they're the real natives of America. Okay. It's a narrative, guys, and I don't think anybody with a brain is going to listen to that. I don't think anybody who knows the reality of what happened in history is going to listen to that. And we know why. I mean, part of it also is just psychological trauma. It's like, you don't want to have anything to do with Africa. You're going out of your way to create a thread or a narrative that supports the idea that you have nothing to do with it. That's crazy. That's crazy. I feel bad for these guys because it's like they cannot see the writing on the wall. They can't see it. Times are changed. We're in a different era now. We're in a whole different era. The erasure is already happening in the youth. They just don't know. Yeah, well, that's been happening for a while, hasn't it? Narratives mean nothing. They only exist when you acknowledge them. Sunset Boulevard, I don't think you know what you're talking about, because a narrative, when you do not know any better, is truth. Ignorance is bliss. And most people are ignorant. There were black people here before slavery. They got here by ships made by African ship makers. So yes, some black people were here. I mean, I believe that. I don't disbelieve that. Like, I actually, again, I do not have the evidence of it in front of, I don't have evidence. But I do believe that there were black people already in America by the time the British arrived. I do believe that. Marty Nelson, do you want to be kicked out? You should read the room. When you come into my room, read the room etiquette and see how people communicate in here, unless you want to get booted. I take souls in here, so I'll take your soul. If that's what you're looking for, because you've posted post after post with capitals, talking about something that has nothing to do with the topic we're discussing. The second, Chazi Chwazi, the second best way to commit a homicide is to make it appear as a suicide. The first best way is to make it appear as an accidental. The often repeated declaration that African history is being hidden is actually the deceptive distraction. The often repeated declaration, okay, where are people getting their information from? I've never heard that nonsense. The history that has been hidden is the European history. Unfortunately, most African folks are disingenuous regarding their pursuits relating to learning. It is ridiculous to expect the... Okay, your articulation of your point is very confusing. I'm trying to understand what you're trying to communicate. Because you're saying that the history that has been hidden is the European history. Unfortunately, most African folks are disingenuous regarding their pursuits related to learning. Huh? What are you talking about? Are you trolling? Are you trolling? Okay, Martin Nelson, you don't have to say bye. I'm going to take your soul. So that we'll never see you. I don't want to ever see you again. I'm going to take your soul so that I will never see you again. The guy is saying bye as if to say, you see, when people say bye, often it's because they're going to see you later. See you tomorrow, see you next week, see you in a few months, whatever. No. We'll never, I don't want to ever see you again. That bye is the ultimate bye. That bye is farewell. Comes in here and just types a whole bunch of nonsense and then says, oh, bye. We don't want to ever see you again. Took your soul. Let me get my soul taken. Took your soul. Now you can see us, but in space no one can hear you scream. Alien. No one can hear you scream. Chaziwazi, my point is, you know that there is an easier way to articulate yourself without all this flowery dialogue, because I can't understand what you're saying. Like it doesn't actually make sense. Like I don't understand. So if you're trying to communicate something to me, write it in plain English that can be understood logically. I don't understand what you're saying. It's like, and even now you're saying, I'm like, huh? Like, if anybody's reading that, I don't get it. So yes, I mean, part of me then feels like, is this a troll? Like, are you trolling? What are you trying to say? Just speak straight English. Speak basic English. If you don't acknowledge it, does it stop you from waking up in the morning or going to sleep at night? Huh? Why is everybody trying to be a philosopher today? Why is everybody thinking, guys, why is everybody trying to be a philosopher today? I'm reading comments and it's like I'm reading Plato and Ulysses. What the hell is going on? Slee Africa, hi, can't stay too long. It's just past midnight here. I'm deeply concerned with the erasure of history and the silence around it. It's not good. Good night. Whoa, damn. This was a real okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Chaziwazi, you're not communicating plain language. You're not. You see the way that I talk? Nobody is confused. You see the way that I talk? Nobody is confused. I'm reading your dialogue and I do not know what you're saying. So, you are not and anybody else who's on Substack that can read those comments, if somebody can translate it for me, be fine, because I don't understand the point you're trying to make. I haven't got a clue. Let me see now. What comments am I missing? Please, can you stop saying sub-Saharan African? Please stop saying that. We're not sub anything. Sub what? Why was sub-Saharan? Sahara is a damn desert. What does it mean to be sub anything? Sub-Sahara. I'm not sub anything. Sub is subterranean, means under. I'm not under anybody. So what does that make North Africa above us? Is there any other continent or country where they are divided by being above or below a particular line? Have you ever heard of such a thing before? Sub-Saharan. And everybody says it as if it's a thing. I'm not sub anything. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Look, like I said, Donny T, more power to him. More power to Donny T. I think that is a very, very good learning experience for us. And if we can't learn if after this, we still do not do what we're supposed to do, I don't know what to tell you. If after all this, we still don't do what we're supposed to do, I don't know what to tell you people. I seriously haven't got a clue. Because this is it. Transaction failed. Oh, I think I know what happened here. Damn. I think I know what's happened. Give me a second, guys. I'm having a problem with I got a notification here about my Kings of Africa mugs. Something just happened. Failed. Okay, I see it. Ah. Oh, damn. Ah, okay. Okay. I see what's happening. All right. Yeah, sorry guys, something just happened on one of the orders. Somebody's order, I have to fix it real quick. All right, need to fix this save billing method securely now. There we go. There we go. Waiting fulfillment. Okay, that's fixed. My apologies, guys. My apologies. I had a little glitch over there that had to be taken care of. It is now fixed. It is now fixed. All right, I'm on laptop now. Summer Sky. Okay, so click the link. Do you still see the link? Can you find the link? Let me paste it here. There's the, oh, no. Did I post the link? Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, that is the link. There it is, guys. I have given you guys the link in YouTube. So you should be able to join the show. All right. All right. All right. All right. Just try to register for the pre-order offer, but the alert me button isn't working. It isn't working? Which alert me, but where did you try and register, Maggie Getfield? Mech, I hate the new Black Panther animation series. It promotes the false narrative that black societies were matriarchal, like other feminist-driven African projects like Woman King. I'm not going to talk about those people, okay? I focus on this. This is what I focus on. If you want the reality, you come to me. You don't want the reality, I don't want to talk about anybody else's thing. I talk about my projects. Okay? I don't want to talk about anybody else's projects. I talk about the Crusaders. And everybody knows that if you want the authentic goods, because I give you the authentic goods, because we're dealing with real history. So I don't want to talk about anybody else's things. I want to talk. When you get the real authenticity, you know you've gotten the authenticity. Maggie Getfield, you said that you tried to pre-order. What happened? Oops. Is anybody else having issues with pre-ordering? Did anybody else have issues with it? Because it doesn't look like there's a problem. It's not that the alert me button isn't working. Is that so? Is anybody else having problems with it? Why is this doing this? Yeah, I mean, it seems to be working. Yeah, it seems to be working. Yeah. Yeah, I don't see any issues. I don't see any issues. So yeah, you're going to have to let me know if you're having problems, and I can troubleshoot. I can troubleshoot it. Oh man. I'm clicking on the link, nothing happens. Which link? Which link? Which link are you clicking on, Genevieve Renee's? Which link are you clicking on? If you're trying to get what are you trying to do? I don't understand. Like, are you what link are you clicking on that you say isn't doing anything? You found my store access. Yeah, but you're not supposed to be going to my store. The Crusade, look, I told you where you go. You go here. What browser I'm using? Well, Chrome is what you should be using. If you're trying, but you're not. You see, this is the thing. You made a statement, and you're not actually answering my question, so I can solve the problem, because you said that a link isn't working. I'm like, what link? And you didn't answer me, so I can't help you. You know, I can go live with you. Paula Horlock, then you have to switch over to YouTube. Switch over to YouTube if you want to go live with me. And when you get into the YouTube feed, let me know that you're there. When you get into the YouTube feed, let me know that you're there. When you get into the YouTube feed, let me know that you're there. And then I can bring you on. Whatever happened to somebody else was supposed to be coming on here and disappeared? What's the Summer Sky? What happened to you? XIV, you're right. We need to make our own projects before feminists exploit and distort our history to fit their misandric narratives. The problem is getting worse. Good thing you are fighting back. I'm not fighting anybody. I'm just doing what I'm doing. Let me ask you something, XIV. Now that you're saying this, did you pre-order the Crusaders or did you join the 300? Did you pre-order the Crusaders and did you join the 300? Have you joined the newsletter? Have you done any of these things? XIV. Regular question. I think XIV means 14. Or something, I don't know. Did you do any of those things? Real question. Maggie Getfield, where are you? I'm not seeing the comments anymore. I'm not seeing the comments on my Substack anymore. Why is this not working? Hold on. That's so strange. Let me try and put this on. Another browser and see if I can get myself back in here. Because for some reason, I'm not seeing anything on my Substack. That's so weird. Is my Substack working, people? Can you still see me? Because I cannot see any comments. If you're on Substack, can you type something in the comments so I can check if this is working? If you're on Substack, type in the comments so I can see if this is actually working, because I cannot see any comments at all in my Substack feed. For some reason. Link to stream. Wow. Yeah, I can't see anything at all. All right, so I mean, look, let me actually check. I think I can check if it's working. Hold on. Let me see if I can check if this is working, because I can't see anything. Okay, there we can. There we are. I see you. Okay, it's working now. It's working. Maggie Getfield, what did you say that you said that it wasn't working? You were trying to get on something and it didn't work? What were you referring to? Now that I have you back. XIV, you didn't answer my question. XIV, why didn't you answer my question? I asked you, I said, did you pre-order? Did you join the 300? Did you join the newsletter? Did you do any of these things? XIV, why didn't you answer me? Why didn't you answer me? All right, you see? You see what I'm saying, folks? You know? I mean, unless XIV disappeared, I mean, you know, what happened? And I only asked that question to make a point, is that, remember when I said, talk is cheap, like we can just talk. But I don't understand complaining about a problem, but not doing anything to solve the problem. Because then when you're in that position, then you're just a victim. And victimhood is not something I'm comfortable with. It's like, yeah, if there's a problem, you identify it, and then you start figuring out ways to solve the problem, and then you become part of the solution. But if all we do is just talk and talk and talk and talk and complain and talk about, oh, this is what is wrong, we've got to do this, and this is what we've got to do, but we don't actually do anything, then you can't be taken seriously. And listen, forget about me. It's not even about only me. I'm like, listen, I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm doing my part. But for me, it's like, if we're going to have a conversation about these things and people are going to make statements or whatever, you have to back up that statement with actions to validate the statement. Otherwise, what's the point? Otherwise, what is the point? Who is XIV? It's somebody on my YouTube who was commenting on not liking a show and saying that, it's good that I'm doing what I'm doing and I'm fighting back. So I was like, okay, cool. Are you supporting that? Like, if you're saying that, have you supported it? Are you supporting it? In any way, shape, or form? That was my question. Because at this point, just talking isn't going to do anything. And it's because people aren't taking action en masse is the reason why this sort of stuff keeps happening. But then when I asked the question, XIV disappeared, didn't answer me. Why am I actually seeing? This is so weird. It's not correlating. Am I still even broadcasting? Guys, is my YouTube stream working? This is so weird. My RMTP, this stuff is just all over the place. If you're on my YouTube, can you let me know if you can see, type some comments in my YouTube just so I can check that it's working. Okay, it is working. I've seen a comment now. I have seen a comment now. Okay, it is working. Oh, the pre-order alert. You filled in the 3 fields. Where did you, let me think. Did you go to where did you go to the link? Was it on the website or where? Let me see now, comments. Chaziwazi is still telling me stuff. Listen, okay, I've read this statement you just put here, but you're not, what are you saying? Okay, the reality is that the ways that we invest and apply our time, resource, energy, and efforts actually define us. Okay, but you made a whole bunch of statements before about white folks and what black people are doing and whatever. And I'm like, I didn't understand what you were saying. So I said, just clarify that if you want a response, because you made a bunch of statements and you weren't able to clarify it. And when I said say it in plain English, you're telling me this, and this is a non-statement. This is just a concept. And I'm like, okay, cool. We agree with the concept. How you spend your time is important and you've got to spend it on the right things. Okay. What are we talking about? You went to the website. Okay, then it should work. Unless you're already subscribed. Let me see. Unless you're already subscribed. And so many people have subscribed and they haven't confirmed. So many. So many people. Let me see. Maggie gets filled. Let me see what's going on here. Yeah, you have it here. You're already in the alerts. Yeah, you should be fine. See the automations, forms.
Which app do you want to open?
Siri's talking to me. Yeah, I mean, I think you should be okay. I think you should be okay. Yeah, you don't worry about it. I'll take care of that. But you did make a compelling argument before you were cut off. Yeah. Oh. Listen, I don't know. I don't care about Twitter anyway, to be honest. Oh, I should have been cut off from Instagram already because it's usually only an hour that they give you. Danny Doc, my YouTube is not allowing you to make a comment. Why is that? All right. I don't see you. I can hear you. Hold on. I don't see you. I can hear you.
Do we need to see me?
Well, you know, it will be helpful. But it helps me communicate better. But you know, if you're nervous about it, well, fair enough. But it's a little easier to communicate that way.
Okay.
Hold on. All right. All right. Or are you worried about being on camera? Is that are you nervous about it or?
No, I'm not nervous, only in as much as
Let me know. You know.
no, I didn't give it that much thought actually. But now that you mention it,
Because generally on my lives, I usually like people to be on a camera so I can actually have a conversation and see them.
okay,
Just talking to the voice is a bit. It's just better for the conversation because I find it easier if I can actually see who I'm talking to, and also for the audience, it's like they can actually see people having a conversation as opposed to the voices. That's why I typically ask that people be on cam for the convos.
okay.
Especially being on for the fact that the question you ask, I think it's actually an important question because it's connects to pretty much the essence of what I really believe needs to happen. If you remember what your question was, so let me know when your camera is functional, and we can.
I'm getting an echo, so I think I might have two tabs on. I'm just trying to sort that
Hold
out.
on, let me see if the echo. Yeah, I've got echo cancellation. What you need to do. It'd be a compelling argument before. What's the compelling? I don't think you have any. Maybe you need a headset. I don't know why that's because I can't hear an echo. Anybody listening, can you guys hear an echo? I can't. I mean, but I wouldn't know. Am I echoing for you?
I think I've done it here.
It's not echoing anymore.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Okay, so now I'll try and sort the camera out.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, nobody here. I think your sound is good. Your sound is good. Okay, so I'm going to give you a bit of time while I'll bring you back in when you're ready. All right, so as I was saying, guys, I think it's just about actions. And I think even that conversation I had with the XIV guy, I mean, that's sort of part of what I mean. It's like, I like being able to talk about these things. And, you know, even when I asked that question, I would have liked to have gotten a response so that we could have had a conversation about it. Because you see, the thing that Donny T is doing when he's erasing history from schools, from museums, he's doing all of that sort of stuff, in combination with mainstream media and other media networks creating their own versions of African history to sell to people. This stuff all works hand in hand. And then if we have a community that in and of itself is not willing to support people who are trying to tell the history as it's supposed to be told, what are we complaining about at that point? It's just a very, very strange thing to do. It's like, what? Then you might as well just say that, oh, you know what? I don't think it's important enough for me to be involved in helping solve this. Let Donny T do what he's doing, and it is what it is. Because he clearly thinks, you see, the fact that the president of the United States thinks it is that important to neutralize aspects of African history and Black history in America, yet you don't think it's important enough to tell your own history independently, says a lot about why we're in the position we're in. The president of America and his cabinet and his government agencies, he has an entire agency and he signed an executive order directly focused on your history. But in your world, it's not that important. Do you see what I'm saying? This is the reason why when you start complaining, it doesn't mean anything. Because on the flip side, it's like, how else are we going to get out of this if we don't take responsibility? How else are we going to get out of it if we don't take responsibility? You know? Visual has disappeared. Oh, damn. Okay. Well, I think it's still working. All right. So anyway, look, I'll bring you in. So what was your question again?
No, I said that you would be. What did I say? Basically, I said that you would be outraged if you were a child of
Mhm.
a descendant of a
Right.
slave.
Right. Yes. And you see, the reason why that question that statement is pertinent to this conversation is that when you're outraged, the outrage is not as important as what you do next. So the outrage is outrage is outrage. Okay, you're outraged.
Yes,
What
yes,
do you do next? So if the reaction after the outrage or during the outrage is to go back to the person that outraged you and try and get them to change their ways or to do what you want, you're a
yeah,
fool. You're a fool at that point.
yeah, exactly.
The
But
reaction to being
sometimes I feel
outraged in
as if
this
I'm a
case,
one-man band.
yeah, because I mean the reality is that in this situation, the reaction to being outraged has to be, oh, you know what? We need to go and do our own thing here. Like we need to go and take care of our own because what this person has managed to pull off, we need to go and take care of business ourselves.
And how would you plan on doing that?
Telling your own history
To whom?
to yourselves.
Well, yeah, we can tell it to ourselves as much as we like, but
What do you mean?
we're not in a
Oh,
position.
what?
We don't feel as if we're in a position to do it. And I'll tell you why. Because what Trump's doing now, I think, is that
Mm-hmm.
he wants to erase it, because there's been a bit of a revolution. There's been a ripple
Yes.
due to Ibrahim Traore,
Okay.
and the fact that he's actually standing up and he's saying no.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes me weep, because for years, the fact that
No, but
our
I'm
slavery hasn't been acknowledged,
okay.
or an apology, I think an apology would go a long way
A long way to what?
to making us feel as if we are someone.
Yeah, but why? Yeah, but why should somebody have the power to make you feel like you're someone?
Well, it's not that it makes us feel as if we're someone, but the way we're treated
Yes,
is
again, and
dictated by the narrative of
yes,
those in power.
again. My question to you is the energy or the perspective that you're taking with this, with everything, is what somebody else can do to you.
Exactly. And they are
My
doing.
focus is what we can do for ourselves, independent of what anybody else does or doesn't do.
Well,
That's it. Like, that is all. My entire platform, everything I say, everything I do is about what can we do that has
okay.
nothing to do with what anybody else says or wants to do. That it's irrelevant. Their
Okay.
opinions are irrelevant. What they're doing are irrelevant.
Yeah.
It's all irrelevant,
Yeah.
because the focus is taking control of your own destiny
Yes.
and making decisions for your future and the future of your children and your grandchildren yourselves.
Yes. Yes.
Therefore, I don't care about an apology. I don't need you to apologize to me. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, great. I understand that. But
Mhm.
what I see is we can take care of our own to a degree.
Okay.
Okay. But I see the damage it's done to us on a whole,
Okay.
particularly in the UK.
Okay.
Okay. And it breaks my heart, because they start, it's almost like there's a hidden agenda, because they start as soon as the young boys leave school. And
Oh, okay.
before you
Wait,
know,
wait. So we don't get to, because we're drifting a bit. I just want we to just stay focused on this stuff. What we don't want to do is get into a conversation where we're just going through a list of all the bad things that have been done. We don't want to do that. The focus here is that we have to focus on action that we can do.
I
The
understand
focus is
that.
like what, so when you're saying that they start off as young boys and they do we know that. So the key is that what is the action we can do to resolve that?
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, okay,
Yeah, I understand that
okay,
to a point.
okay.
I understand that to a point. But in a way, it's still relative to what I'm saying, because no one listens. They think, oh, forget, when you try to mention it, they say, oh, forget about that. That was in the past. That's got nothing to do with us.
Who says that?
Well, the Caucasians in general,
And who cares about what they say?
they don't open the opportunities. They don't listen to us.
Why do we no but
They're saying this.
why are you waiting for them to give you an opportunity?
I don't feel as if I can make a difference.
Wow. Oh, I mean, then we're in different galaxies, respectfully.
Okay.
We're in different galaxies because, okay, let
Okay.
me ask you this. How long have you been on my platform?
I drift in and out
Like, when did you
for
start watching
about
my stuff?
a year,
A
year and a half.
year.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm surprised that you're still saying it. Literally, everything I ever say, every video, every post, everything I say revolves around self-sufficiency and autonomy. Let me ask you this. You see this here? Do you think this would have been possible if I was waiting for an opportunity? No,
I
seriously,
see.
do you think it would have been
Okay.
possible to do this
Yeah, I understand where you're
if I
coming
was
from,
waiting for a Caucasian to give me a chance?
to give you a platform. Right. Okay. Yeah.
No, it wouldn't have been possible.
No.
You're looking at something. Do you know who paid for this? Guess who paid for this?
No, tell me.
Black people, my fans. That's who paid for this. I
Okay.
didn't get this. This was not paid for by AdSense. This was not paid for by sponsors. This was not paid for by a studio. This was not paid for by a publisher. This was paid for by the 300.
Okay. Now
That's
I
it.
understand.
So therefore, I had nobody to answer to. I didn't have to talk to anybody. I didn't have to answer to anybody. I just went away and I focused on telling the true history of Africa, the way that I see it,
Yeah.
and the way the ancestors should be remembered.
Yeah.
And there's nobody that can tell me, well, you went a little bit too, and you have, that didn't happen. I'm trying to tell you that the mentality that you have, and I understand because UK, you are 100% correct there. It's a crazy society. They did a lot of damage to the psychology of black people. It's 100%. And in fact, the United Kingdom is responsible for 99%
Yes.
of the pestilence around the world today.
Yes.
So you're 100% correct. You're correct about all of that. But my point is that as Black and African folks and Caribbeans, who are also African, of course, everything you do begins with, what can I do? Never think, please, as you live my life today, let us have an agreement. From when you wake up tomorrow morning, you will not think about what they will allow you to do.
Yeah.
Your thought process going forward from tomorrow morning is, what am I going to be able to do for myself?
Yeah.
Now, it's going to start small because you're not going to, like you said, it's overwhelming. What can I really do? I'm just one person. That's good. You see, the overwhelming feeling you have is where it begins.
Yeah.
Because I felt that way in the beginning too. But that is where you've got to start. That is the reason why you're on my platform. That's the reason why you've got to keep coming to the channel. That's the reason why you've got to keep listening to the podcast. That's the reason why you've got to keep reading the newsletter.
Okay.
There are people who've been on my channel. It's changed their brain waves
Yeah.
after a few months because they start understanding that, wait a second. I have all the tools necessary to do what I've got to do.
Okay.
Like, do you know how you would have felt? Think about how you would have felt if you were in the 300 and you were part of the people that helped me make this. Think about that.
Yeah.
Because you would sit back and say, oh, I put in £100 or £50 or £80, whatever it is. And I actually am part of the reason why an African was able to make something for us.
Yeah.
And that negates what you said. It negates it because we didn't need anybody to give permission. We didn't need an opportunity. Now imagine if 1,000 people do that.
Yeah.
Then imagine if 10,000 people support me. What would I make? What would you be able to make? So what I'm saying is that I get it, but that mentality is like the hoax, is the trick. And that is what keeps millions of us chained psychologically, is to make you believe that there is no way you can stand on your own. There is no, and when you have that feeling, it's like you're frozen. You're too scared to do anything. So the default position is, we've got to get them to change.
Yeah.
My belief, they'll never change.
No.
They will never change.
No.
How can you be asking people to change who haven't changed in 1,000 years?
Yeah.
What am I saying 1,000? In 2,000 years, Greeks, the Romans, the British, the Americans, all these imperial forces, these are all Caucasians. Like they've never changed. So what makes you think in the space of 5 to 10 years or the span of your lifetime, which is 50 years, 70 years, they're going to change more than they have in 2,000 years? They're never going to change. It's not going to happen.
No.
And the trick is to make you keep thinking they will, to make you keep asking them to. You know the thing that these guys are most afraid of? I'm going to tell you the biggest fear they have is that you will simply walk away. That is the biggest fear.
But even when you try to walk away, the truth of the matter is they can't do without us.
No, but that's my point. No, but you see, you're saying the right things. The reason why they come after you when you try to walk away is that is what you just said. They can't live without you.
No.
So the trick is to make you think you need them.
Exactly.
Once you figure out that trick, it's over. Are they going to be able to stop 10 million Africans walking away?
No.
Why do you think that they're panicking with Captain Ibrahim, Captain Africa?
Yeah.
They're panicking because they're like, we tried everything and this guy wouldn't come back. And in fact, he's inspiring other leaders to walk away. What if
Yeah.
this becomes a domino effect and 20 African countries just walk away from us? What are we going to do? We
Yeah.
can't invade all of them.
Yeah. Because they have nothing. Africa has everything.
So yes, so you're now beginning. Listen, I like this. This feels like it was an intervention conversation because you're saying the right things now. There is absolutely no reason for you to think the way you were thinking at the beginning of this conversation. There's no reason for it. Because I can guarantee, I don't know you personally, but I can guarantee you have the wherewithal and the ability to make a meaningful difference. I actually believe that.
Can I just say something?
Yes.
When I came in on your live this
Yes.
evening, I came in at the point where you were speaking about what Donald Trump is trying to say, like forget
Yes.
about slavery. And I responded the way I did because not just because I came in at that point, I didn't know if you were actually advocating for what he was saying. And what I find, unfortunately, is that there are a lot of African people who will say the same thing. Oh, forget about it. You know, slavery wasn't that bad. And that's why I say, right, because I'm from Jamaica, and I say that they will say that because they're not descendants. African people who are not descendants of Africa are confident, they know who they are, they know their history. So it's easy for them to say, oh, let's move on. And I've
So
watched
it's easy for who to
several,
say this?
sorry,
It's easy for who to say this?
people from Africa,
Oh,
because they've been on the videos on YouTube and they've said that.
yeah, but you see, but those first of all, this is the thing. It's not all Africans who say that, but also
No,
the Africans who do, they're being used. It's called wedge politics. That is the reason why America likes bringing them in, because the idea of Latinos coming into America and African immigrants and everything, it's all about diluting the ability of the Black American to
yes,
actually get what they want. That's the whole point of it.
yes,
Because they realize that, look, we've got to break up this block, because if we don't, we're going to be beholden to these people forever. And the further we're getting away from slavery, and the fact that we still have this group of folks who are gaining more and more influence and power, they have cultural influence, political influence. We need to dilute this. Otherwise, at some point, Black America is going to be able to force us to do things we don't want to do politically. And that's scary for them. It's like, we don't want a situation where all of a sudden they're withholding their vote till we actually promise to do certain things. Up till now, we've been able to bamboozle them into like, vote for us because we're not the other guy. Vote for us because you've always voted.
Well, to
Soon
be
we
honest
won't be
with
able
you,
to do that anymore. So what I'm saying is that I feel Africans like ourselves get shipped into their America to be wedge politics, which is exactly what the colored group was created for in South Africa.
yeah,
The colored group was created to be a buffer between the white ruling class and the Black majority, because you give this class more privileges, you give them more power, but they're brown, so they're not white, but they're not Black. So therefore, they fight harder against the Black people because they want to keep the privilege that you've given them. It's the same thing with immigrants. An immigrant comes to America and the immigrant wants to succeed. Okay? The immigrant wants to succeed. So he comes there and he's fighting and whatever. And then he says that in order for me to succeed, who do the power base hate the most? Those guys. If I hate them more than they hate them, I ingratiate myself to them. That's the reason why every group that goes to America, the first thing they do is to denigrate Black Americans. Whether you're Indian immigrant, Asian immigrant, African immigrant, Latin immigrant, everybody does that.
I know, I've noticed.
It's just an automatic reaction. It's like, oh, okay, look, in order for me to be more American, the way you become more American is how much you're not like Black Americans.
Exactly.
The further you are away from them, the more successful and powerful you are in America. That is the
Exactly.
narrative. So for me, it's like, I don't even look at it. I look at it as a tactical battle. as opposed to one that is purely racial. It's not, it's just tactics. It's pure tactics. And when you understand the tactics, the smart African understands that it's actually harming your people more. You see, somebody
Yeah.
like Kemi Badenoch, right?
Yeah.
She doesn't
God.
care about anything.
No.
So she doesn't care that her actions indirectly damage Nigeria.
No, she doesn't
Doesn't
care.
really care about that because she doesn't
No.
care about that. But that is the reality, is that when you do these things, what happens is that you erode the diasporan, the diaspora bridge between the diaspora and Africa. The stronger the bridge is between Africa and Black America, the more likely it is that Africa can actually be free.
Yeah, Kemi Badenoch. She's equivalent to me as the what was the captain who they tried to get down to eliminate Traore in America, the
Say what?
army guy
Yeah.
in America. Can't remember his name. It wasn't Powell, was it? They assigned him to go to
Yeah, Michael Langley.
Langley. That's the one. She's a similar part. She's similar. I see her as equivalent to that, and that again is to just dilute and turn us against each other. If that makes sense.
I mean, yes and no, in the sense that I think she's also working on her own volition, and the establishment like the fact that she exists because yes, she is helpful because she gives the Conservative
Okay.
Party a black face, so it's very helpful in that sense. And also, she's somebody that will allow them to exact some policies that would have been very difficult if it was a white person doing it.
Yeah.
But the fact that she's there, she'll be able to do certain things that a white politician would not be able to get away with doing. Which is
Exactly.
why she's so beneficial
Exactly.
to be in the position that she's in.
Well,
But
isn't that the same with Langley? They
yeah, but you
try
see,
to
the thing
put
is
him
that
there to
I don't feel
execute
like they
certain
put.
things.
I think Michael Langley is a bit different in the sense that Michael Langley isn't actively cooning. He's not. He's a soldier. He has orders. he can't just not do the orders or he leaves the job. So as a soldier, if the military general or whoever, well, he's a general himself, but if the powers that be tell you, this is your directive, this is what you've got to do, this is what you've got to say, he's a soldier. So when Langley is saying what he's saying, what's going on in my mind is, how sad is it? If you look in his eyes, you can tell he doesn't believe what he's saying. Just look in his eyes. You can see he's conflicted. He doesn't believe what he's
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
Kemi Badenoch is a different kettle of fish. She's actively pandering. The stuff
Well,
she's saying, she doesn't have to say. She doesn't have to
well,
do these things.
Kemi Badenoch. She has people who tells her what to do.
Yeah, but so does Langley. I'm just saying that
Exactly.
I'm
And
just
that's
saying that
why I
Kemi
said there's
Badenoch has more agency in what she's doing. Like she's making more decisions. Michael Langley is a soldier who has orders. Kemi Badenoch is a person who is a politician, and the things she says in interviews and the things that she's doing, it's just like some of the stuff she comes out with is it's not even relevant to the interview. She just says
okay.
them.
Yeah.
And you're like, why did you even bring that up?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
to cause some controversy or whatever. So the fact that she does that is she knows what she's doing. She
Right.
knows the position that she has. What is so fantastic about Kemi Badenoch is that look at what she looks like. You see, this is not Meghan Markle that we're talking about. And also, this is not even that there's some women who you see who are African, they're very black, they're obviously African, but they have like a very radiant,
Yes.
elegant aesthetic. She's
Yes.
not elegant. She's not radiant. There is nothing about her that exudes any charisma. Nothing. Like this
I
woman,
know.
she's like the most unimpressive individual. Because you meet some politicians, right? Who are like, look, Lammy, I don't like Lammy. I don't like that guy.
No.
But when he talks, you're like, okay, he's got
Sure.
he's got something. I don't like
Yes.
the guy. But Kemi Badenoch is like, There is no way
There's nothing.
anybody would follow somebody like this unless it's a political reason. She's just not an impressive person. It's just like,
No.
so for me, I look at that and I say, look, the only reason why this woman is in the position she's in is because of what she represents. Because she doesn't inspire anything in people's, when some people talk, it's very inspiring.
Yeah.
Let me give you an example. Another person that I'm not a fan of, Diane Abbott, right? But Diane Abbott, if you put those two guys next to each other, when Diane Abbott is talking, there's just a different energy to it. Not now, but in her, when she was starting out. But you just feel like, okay, this is cool. This is interesting. This is somebody that has something about it. Kemi Badenoch, it feels to me, and again, other people would disagree, I know. It feels like as if somebody is playing the role of a politician.
Yes.
That's what it feels like.
Yes.
It just feels as if she's just she's got a character, an avatar that she realized what the character is, and she's playing that character.
Yeah. And she'll never be prime minister.
She could. No, she could.
No, they're just keeping her there for the minute.
She could.
And then
no, don't write down. No, listen. When people get desperate, when people get desperate enough, the way this country is going, the United Kingdom, I tell you this, the UK, if things keep going in the way it's going, they'll need somebody like that to be prime minister.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Do you know the kinds of things you can do when the person's black? There's some laws that you're going to be able to pass that would be dynamite problems if it was a white man doing it or woman. A black woman can pass laws that stop and frisk and all this sort of stuff. What are you going to say? She's black.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The energy, basically what it does is it makes the conversation very difficult because then the black community have to go after her by calling her a coon. You can't go after her the same way as in, oh, this white person is doing this or this one. The way you'd go after her is by saying, oh, you're a sellout.
Yeah.
Which is a very precarious way to go about having a conversation is by calling somebody a sellout. It's like, okay, what does that really mean?
Yeah.
Or are you the one who has a problem because somebody now, if they don't agree with you, they've automatically sold that? Are you a real British citizen? Because there's all that talk starts coming into it. If it's a white man, the centuries of back history allow you to just come out and say, oh, this person is racist. And there's a lot of things that they just cannot say and do. If a white politician said what she said about Nigeria, his career would be finished.
Yeah.
Be over. 100%. The things she said about Africa and Nigeria, a white person couldn't say those sort of things.
No.
But the things she's saying are what a lot of British citizens want to hear.
Yeah.
So the beauty of having her there is that a big politician who has power can say things that are dog whistles to a lot of British citizens, but she doesn't have to have any consequences for it. So she's useful, which is why I say do not think that she cannot be prime minister. She can. She can. Because I think that we're in different times now. This is not the 1900s anymore or the 1800s. We're at a point where things are really, really desperate. And England, England look at America and call them backwards with their racial issues. England judge the Arabs and say that they have human rights violations. They look at South America, whatever. The fact that the United Kingdom, I think Rishi Sunak is the first non-white prime minister that England has ever had.
Yeah.
And he was in and out of there in 2 years. I actually said, and it actually came true, I said, England is going to have an Indian before a black person. I couldn't fathom a black prime minister of the United Kingdom. My brain couldn't. I know that they were trying to do that Chancellor of the Exchequer guy. They were whatever that Ghanaian.
Oh yeah, yeah.
As well. But then he got fired, so I was like, okay. But I was just I can't. It's a country that in my mind I can't even visualize a black person as prime minister. But with her being there, even though I can't visualize it, I can see how beneficial it would be for the.
Yeah.
I think she's the best chance of the Conservatives getting back in.
Yes.
She's the best chance that they have. It's like,
Mm.
because she will cross a lot of. There's a lot of people who are black that don't think the way we do that would vote for them because she's there.
Okay.
And there's
Mm.
a lot of white people who are racist, but because of the kinds of things she's willing to say that other
Yeah.
people will not say,
Mm.
she's better than everybody to them, because she's saying the kinds of things that no conservative politician will be willing to say anymore.
No.
She'll say it. So for a lot of white voters, they're like, oh, this is the kind of woman that, listen, they are not like us. We are very different breed of people. It's part of
Yeah,
what the whole
absolutely.
conversation we're having was about. I said, the problem with black and African people is that we are not ideological. Yet we are living under a white supremacist world that is an ideology.
Yeah.
Donald Trump is removing history from museums and schools because he said, he quoted this, he said this is his quote, it is the wrong ideology. That is why he's doing it. Now, we do not operate on ideology.
No.
White people do. That is what they've been doing for thousands of years.
Yes.
So for them, they don't care what race you are. All they care about is that as long as you're promoting the ideology that we believe in, you could look like a frog for all we care. Because we know that we're never going to give you any real power. We just want you to be in there and to push the ideology.
And a lot of Americans do that.
Yeah, so it's not, so it's exactly, so what I'm saying is like, it doesn't, Kemi Badenoch has as much chance as anybody to get in there. You know, I
But
might have as much chance as anybody.
my question is, Africa is, from what I see, I hope to go there next year. But from what I see, Africa, although they are a developing country, the the citizens there, they're content with their lifestyle. It's a lifestyle that the West are is a lifestyle that the West dream of. You know, natural food, you know, good weather, and so my thoughts are: why do so many Americans? Why are they so quick to say we're not Africans? Why are they why are they still flooding the place? Yes, I understand that, you know, money, finance has got a lot to do with it, but why not work and send your money home and build up your own country?
Well, I mean, it goes down to what we've been talking about is the lack of, if you don't control your education and your media and your entertainment and your books and your music and your arts and your history, then of course that's what's going to happen, because you're going by somebody else's ideology.
Yeah,
This is all that I'm saying. It's like you're living with somebody else's ideology. That is what you're living with. That's what people who are listening to this podcast is living with. This is not an African ideology that you're living with. So of course you're going to think that way. Of course you're not conditioned to think about the upliftment of Africa and unity and self-sufficiency and autonomy. You're taught and you're conditioned to want to succeed within the machine. That is the measure of success. Is like, and that's what everybody's thinking about. How can I make it? How can I get an opportunity with this? But who's giving the opportunities? Not you. So once you understand that, look, we could go round and round in circles. It's such a simple thing. It comes down to control and power.
yeah,
If you allow anybody from outside of your community to control any aspect of your education and information, you're finished. Like, there's nothing you can do, because what's your very thought process, the way you think, is based on somebody else's ideology and making sure that their society is stable and healthy.
yeah.
So that's my feeling on it. But
Okay.
anyway, look, let me. Do you have
Thank you.
any final thoughts before I let you go?
The only thought I have is, what can we do as individuals to,
as individuals. Well, first of
yeah,
all, it's like you
to,
think about what skills you have, what it is that you're able to do. That's the first thing. Just think about, look, whatever skill you have, whatever. Now, is there
it's gone.
wow? Am I here?
Oh, I'm back now. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it was
I don't know what
you off.
happened.
Basically, you just got to think that, is there a way of me utilizing those skills or things to assist in any way? That's challenging. Like I said, look, it begins with identifying what kind of support you can offer. Okay. Like, I'm doing things, support me. Or find another African content creator or artist or musician or creative that you believe in what they're doing and they need your help or need your support. That's all you've got to do. If 100 of you do that, then that person is capable of actually doing something that makes a difference. That's literally all you've got to do. Because if you within yourself have something you feel you can contribute, you would definitely know it already. You'd
Yeah.
already have that feeling and be like, okay, look, this is the thing that I feel I can do. If you don't, you can actually be very beneficial supporting somebody else in their efforts to get something done. Donna Grace, how are you?
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for taking the time to speak
Oh,
to
no,
me.
no, no problem. No problem. No problem.
Okay.
Thank you very much for joining. And definitely check out the 300 if you're interested in
I will
supporting.
do.
Check that out. And the pre-order for the Crusaders as well. Check those out too. But
Okay.
thank you for joining. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
All right. All right. All right, guys. So it's for some reason, my Instagram is still running. I thought that they cut you off after 1 hour, but it's still going. Guys, is my Instagram still on? Can you leave me some comments in Instagram if it's still working? Can you leave me some comments in Instagram if it is still working? It seems to still be working. Hello, Gabrielle. Gee, why are you talking in Dutch? I don't understand Dutch. Oh, tell about the 300. All right, guys, the 300. I don't even have to tell. I can just play the video. I can play the trailer. Let me see if I can get the trailer up. See if I can get the trailer up. Have you seen the movie 300? It's based on the ancient myth of 300 Greek Spartan warriors that defeated an army of Persians. This gave me an idea. I don't need an army of thousands. I only need 300 committed individuals. 300 people who believe and are ready to fund the creation of content that educates, inspires, and uplifts us. Each quarter, the 300 will decide what projects to create. Each quarter, they will provide the resources to make it happen. I'll set the base rate at maybe $100 once a quarter when the project is voted on, but any individual can decide to put in more. Together, we'll create a system that cannot be censored, silenced, or suppressed. Are there 300 of you willing to work with me to do what we need to do? If so, there is a link to the 300 form in my profile bio and in the description of this video, depending on where you are watching this. The world will not save Africa, and it never will. There you go. There you go, guys. That is the overview of what the 300 is. www.the300.io. Link is also in my profile bio or in the description if you're on YouTube. That is my private funding community. That is my funding community for anybody who is interested. All right, what is this? All right. All right. All right. Okay. Sign you up. Okay. Well, if you want to sign up, go to the link and apply. But listen, many people apply. They never even get in because they don't check their emails. They don't confirm because you get an email, you have to click the blue button, or the email goes to their spam, or when they even get in, they don't make the contribution, all of this sort of stuff. So it's really on you, to actually proceed and get through the whole thing. But we are doing the final, the voting is about to close this week. I have to make a video letting people know that the voting is closing on Q2. I delayed it a lot because there were a lot of things happening. I wanted to set up the release of the Crusaders release and everything, so I delayed it quite a lot. But we are nearing the end now. We are nearing the end. So you have to get in quickly so you can actually have time to cast your vote. Yeah, but this was an interesting conversation. This was definitely an interesting conversation. Very, very, very interesting conversation. All right, guys. White people are embarrassed by their history, and they should be. Yeah, but like I said, yes, they should be, and you shouldn't expect them to willingly make exhibits talking about all the things that they did. I mean, it's not your responsibility. It's not their responsibility. I'm going to look into the info about the 300. I just gave you all the info you need. I just gave you all the info you need. What more info do you need? I gave you everything. Now you just have to make a decision. Go to the website and support. Oh man, yeah, wow. What a day. What a day, what a day, what a day. And the funny thing about this is, like I said, this thing was signed in March. Now we have, the museum stuff happening now. This stuff quietly, before you know it, a lot of this stuff will be gone from the museums and the majority of Americans won't even realize. The question all FBAs should ask ourselves is why continue attempting to de-wokify us as a people? Like, who are we that our history should be forgotten? Well, yes, but you see, part of the problem with FBA that I've said this before, is that you have to be careful because you have to figure out what you're really fighting for. You have to be really careful about what you're fighting for. As far as AA don't want to align with Pan-African movements, it's also because they don't want them Africans to cash in on their reparations. Well, yes, but that's because continental Africans a lot of them are also duplicitous. I mean, it's obvious what should be done. If you go to America, you should support these guys, and the reparations shouldn't be for you. They're not for you. But unfortunately, and look, part of the reason why Africans behave that way is that we've been bamboozled. Our minds have been corrupted. Chemtrex, I've seen a lot of continental Africans who have said something along those lines, along the lines of like, we deserve reparations too, because we had colonialism, or what about us? If you get it, then what about us? Is it just for, I've heard that. I've definitely heard that. And it's usually people who want to just cause division. They don't care about reparations. They don't want reparations. They're just saying it because the whole reason why they're able to do what they do is It's almost like a pick-me mentality. They want to signal to white America that I'm one of the good ones. That's why they say these things, because otherwise, like, what has it got to do with you? If you don't want to help people get what they should get, just keep quiet. Just keep quiet. Why are you talking? It is a very strange thing. It's like when you're an immigrant, for you to not have a direct line to slavery and feel like it's your place to tell descendants of slaves whether or not they should get reparations is one of the, it is actually insane. And part of the problem is because racism is so stupid that it's just based on skin color. They usually get some of these people to become spokespeople because the general layman out there, the basic American, they just see a black person saying these words. They're not going to investigate any further to figure out where they're actually from. AJC connecting reparations with fake money backed by AJC. You're getting onto something very, very important that I don't even want to get into here. Because as I said earlier, I said FBA need to think very carefully about what they're actually fighting for. I told them, be careful, because what is money? What is money? IOUs that these guys just print on toilet paper, that they just decide what the value is going to be arbitrarily. What is money? So you've actually got to really, really think about a lot of these things as you move forward. And again, like I said, that's a whole other conversation that we don't need to get into. That's a whole other conversation that we don't need to get into. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. As I said, Instagram are the only people who can do the direct thing where you just type in Crusaders on Instagram and you'll be able to get into this directly. I'll DM you the information. If you're on anything else, my YouTube, my Substack, so on and so forth, you go to the Crusaders Unite. Exactly, land and sovereignty. Star Smith, what you're talking about is too deep for a lot of people to understand. It's too deep. There are things that, and I talked about this 2 years ago, and I said, guys, when it comes to reparations, they've tricked you guys. You are exactly where these folks want you to be. You're fighting for something that doesn't mean anything. That's exactly where they want you to be. You're fighting for something that not only does it not mean anything, they completely control it. They control the value of it, how it's disseminated, what it can be used to buy, what it can do. I mean, that's the trickery. So once you combine that with the civil war that has been developing now between FBA and Africans, then you go to South Africa and you see the civil war that has been created between South Africans and every other black person, specifically Nigerians, you just realize that all over, and listen, the list is long of these sorts of things. You just realize that, wait a minute, all over the world, black people are fighting black people. And when you trace the roots of these problems, well. They attach, what is this? But from the African land, they attached us onto the lands we ended up on. Okay, not sure what that means. As an FBI, I don't want money. I want my people to have access to the benefits similar to Native Americans. Donna Grace, those benefits have kept the Native Americans trapped. They keep them on reservations. Do you know how crazy it is to even say that you're on a reservation in your own country? And the land that they've given them, look, as I said, the fact that you're on a reservation in your own country is wild to me. Star Smith, of course, listen, Black America spends something like, I don't know, $1.2 trillion a year. That is more than most countries in the world. And it's most definitely more than any African country spends. Black America has more spending power than most African countries outside of maybe South Africa. Money is not the issue, guys. The issue is a lot deeper than that. You know what I'm saying? Like, the money is available. But as they say, if your money leaves your community within 8 hours, it's already gone. 8 hours is gone. That's crazy. Within a day, it's already left your community. So all that $1.2 trillion that Black America spends is leaving the Black community within 8 hours. Can you imagine if 50% of that 1.2 trillion circulated in the Black community for 1 week or for a month, like the Asians? Apparently, the Asian dollar circulates in the Asian community for, I think, 2 to 3 weeks before exiting. Wow. 2 to 3 weeks. That's the reason why they're in the position they're in. What is this? What is this? What is this? Sorry, I'm just looking at some comments. Red Hawk says prove. Okay, so Red Hawk, I think you're in the wrong place, so I'm going to take your soul now. Red Hawk says that he came onto my channel and told me to prove. Who the hell are you to prove anything to? Who are you that I should prove anything to? You're nothing. You don't mean anything. Who are you? Prove to you. Let me take this guy's soul. I'm going to show you guys how you deal with these people. This guy said I should prove it to him. This is what I'm going to prove something to you right now. I just proved to you that I took your soul. Red Hawk took your soul. You can see us now, but in space, no one can hear you scream, alien. The guy came into my channel. A white man came to my channel and told me to prove to him something. Me. These guys are confused. You need to check who you're talking to first. Because there's a lot of guys that you would go and say that to. You see, they're used to it. They go to a black person, an African, and say, prove it to me. And then they get into an argument, a back and forth. I'm not like those folks. I don't care what you think. I really don't care. Like, I don't care. What the hell? But again, it's like, is that mentality the first thing you come prove to you? Yeah. Color don't mean nothing, brother. Am I wrong? I don't know what you're asking that for. I'm not sure what that question means. The poor guy had a little tantrum and I took his voice. You see, and you know what? Let me tell you this. People like that, he's now gone. He's going to sit there. He's going to be frustrated, agitated. I took his voice. He cannot rant anymore. He can see me, but he can't talk. The frustration is going to be killing him. He's dying inside. This black man said, I don't mean anything. And he said he doesn't care about my opinion. And then he took my voice. This black man. Who does he think he is? That's what we're dealing with, people. This is the reason why, you see, Donny T taking history out of schools and taking history out of the museum is to allow scrotes like that. You see, that scrote was raised on a society that has prevented him from knowing the truth. That's what that guy is. You know, ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But you're right, you know. Anyway, guys, look, let me get out of here. What a show. What a show. We covered a lot of topics. What a show, guys. I will see you soon. All right. And as I said, check out all my links. Check out the link in the description. Check out the link in my bio. As I said, you know, get on the pre-order list, you know, because it's getting released next Friday. So get on the pre-order list right now. And 300, check that out too. All right, guys, I'm out.